Hello, it's our Thursday newsletter again, and welcome. The topic today is vitamin D. I've been doing a lot of research on the internet, and I've got some good news on that. Now, talking about researching on the internet, it could be said that I spend too much time researching on the internet for my own good, and especially on YouTube. Well, that's what Anne tells me, my wife. And I agree. It can be depressing for the best of us, but today's newsletter is all good news about vitamin D. Lots of people have been telling me they've been experiencing depression and anxiety, and I'm not going to cover that today, but if you are depressed or anxious, I've got a plan which I've used personally for 20 years in the dark winter months. So if you just click on the link, that will take you to it in the newsletter. Is that straight, is it? Because it looks a bit crooked. Yes. Technical matters, of course, guys. Anyway, the good news. If I said Dr. Anthony Fauci, you would say, boo hiss. And I can understand that. He's a nasty piece of work. We know that. But what if I told you that he has come out and told the truth on something, for once probably? He revealed it in an interview this last couple of days that he has been taking vitamin D3 and vitamin C to boost his immune system. A doctor? Ooh. Well, but more to the point, he's not just been taking the silly daily recommended amount that the government's put out, or the health authorities. He disclosed that he was taking 6,000 IUs of D3 and 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily. Now, that's a minimum I take, but hey, it's great news. He doesn't know it, but he may have put the pharma drug companies out of business if enough people follow his advice. You know, if anybody that's followed me knows I'm a big fan on vitamin D and vitamin C. So I don't know if he really understands the implications of the amount he's taking, because that is a really good amount. As I say, I take more, but that's okay. 6,000 and 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C that he's taking. My experience of the studies and with helping thousands of users show that that much vitamin D and vitamin C will make a good start of curing any health issue. And it may also eliminate the need for vaccines for coronavirus and flu, simply because, when you take that much, I'll tell you the studies later, it really makes a dramatic difference. So the evidence are in recent coronavirus studies, in fact, that published that even at-risk people, elderly people with health problems that were the ones that would normally die from coronavirus, if they have a good level of D3 in the bloodstream, they have a 200% better chance of recovering from it. Not my studies, these are studies that have been published recently. That is a huge success rate. In other words, it really more than halves the rate of deaths from coronavirus if you have a good amount of vitamin D in your bloodstream. Good? I think it's good. Do you take it? Well, let's look at some of the information. Well, first I have to tell you that many of my readers who take less than that amount, some people only take 1,000 IUs, a day, and they tell me that they've not suffered from flus or even had flu shots since they started taking that much. So it's not beyond the realm of possibilities to take a very small dose. But why? If you can take 6,000 or like me up to 10,000 a day, take it. If you can, it's not expensive vitamin D anyway, so go with the flow on that. But it is really critical for the whole body, and it's got massive effects on all diseases, and I'm going to list those in a minute. there are some D3 videos published on YouTube by California University, and they are great. You know, they make wonderful claims, amazing claims on prostate cancer and breast cancer and all sorts of things. And they're only talking about D3. I'm always talking about a full panel of nutrition to get you healthy. But there you go. Anyway, what's vitamin D3 for those that don't know? It's not actually a vitamin. It acts like a hormone, but it doesn't matter because everybody, including all those university professors doing the videos on from California University on YouTube, but it acts like a hormone. But the important thing is it's needed by every single cell in your body. Every cell has got receptors around the body, so you cannot be without it. If you are deficient in it, you will be, depressed for a start in the winter, but you'll also leave yourself open to infections. In fact, it could be said that the cause of all disease is a vitamin D deficiency, plus a few others that I'll talk about. But that is, if you like, that's the king of to fight the battle against infection and disease. But let's look at this a little bit further anyway. So, as you know, I've ranted about this for nearly 30 years. Those that have been with me for 30 years, there are some people, but your body makes it from cholesterol when you go out in the sunshine, or you should go out in the sunshine, and you should get as much skin exposed to the sunshine as well. In the Garden of Eden, it was skin being exposed to it. So that's how we would get it in normal practice. But vitamin D deficiency is really common, and it's said there are over 1 billion people worldwide with low levels of the vitamins in their blood. This is great for the drug industry because they don't say, oh, this is your infection's caused by a vitamin D deficiency, just go home and take 6,000 IUs, because they want to sell a drug. That's what they're doing. So they brainwash the doctors to say, oh, no, nutritional supplements can't really be a problem. Just give them a drug. And I think this is why all these things are going on at the moment, because they want to give everybody a drug, the vaccination. So, according to a 2011 study, 41% of all adults, in other words, let's call it 50% of everybody that you know are deficient. That's people that live above the equator, the USA, UK, Europe, obviously south as well actually, but particularly in the north, because it's a problem there. So 50% of everybody that you meet. It goes up though, because 70%, roughly 70% of Hispanics and 82% of people with black or brown skins living in the northern climes in the same area are deficient in it. That's really serious, which is why, other than starchy carbs, because both Hispanics and black and brown skinned people shouldn't be eating starchy carbs, but it does also show that a lot of the health issues with these two groups here are caused really by D3 deficiency. It's great when you start digging into all these studies. It really is. So why are we at risk? I just said, we really should go out in the sunshine, but even having dark skin, if you have dark skin, you don't absorb sunlight the same, and so therefore you can't manufacture it. So you have to go out with a brown or black skin, or even Hispanic, need to go out in the sun more and stay out in the sun more. So just having dark skin causes a deficiency. Being elderly and staying indoors, what do we do to elderly people? We lock them away inside. This is crazy. And so being elderly, staying indoors causes a vitamin D deficiency. Who gets infections? People in care homes. Just crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay. Being overweight or obese, for whatever reason, it obviously upsets the system. It could be being overweight and obese people don't actually get the kit off, get the clothes off and get out into the sunshine as much. I don't know. But these are just the statistics. Not eating much fish. I eat lots of fish, but not everybody does actually, because that's one of the foods which has got a reasonable level of D3 in it. I've already said living far from the equator with little sun year round, and that you know the Iceland has a really high incidence of breast cancer, and of course it's nowhere near the equator. And of course the medical system says, well, it's a genetic problem with them. I'd be very interested to know if the levels, the vitamin D3 levels, are high or low in those people. And last but not least is that those that use a sunscreen are also at risk, because it blocks the sunlight getting onto your skin and stops the process of vitamin D3 manufacturing. So that's not said when people say, oh, cover up with your sunscreen, sunblocks, and protect yourself. You're not protecting yourself, you're leaving yourself wide open. And you're leaving yourself wide open to all the diseases. Excuse me. So, what health problems are you at risk of with low levels of D3? Cold, flu, you know, as I said before, people that have high levels of vitamin D3 just never get colds and flu. It's just a fact of life. And of course, coronavirus, because I'm going to, I told you about the study on coronavirus. You've got a 200% better risk, even if you're a risk person, of staying alive compared to people with a low D3. And I don't know whether it's the same in most countries. Oh, yes, it is actually. I remember now. But in the UK, the hospitals, when the panic set about with coronavirus, because it was a panic, it wasn't a logical thing. All the elderly old people in hospital that were there with health problems, they literally took them out, pushed them into nursing homes, and of course, very soon after, they died. They weren't getting any vitamin D3. I think it's a crime. I do actually think it's a crime. I was watching another doctor the other day on YouTube, and this doctor is a very straightforward doctor. He believes in coronavirus. He believes in all, you know, medicine, vaccinations, everything. And he was talking about one of these studies that I'd seen, and he was visibly upset. Visibly upset. He said, I cannot understand why the authorities are not rushing out, getting D3 put to a final test on this, you know, because if you can replicate the same test quickly. He said he really was visibly upset. I think it might have broken the ice with him. He now realises that the authorities are not interested in solving the problems. They just want to get people on drugs, and they're not going to give them the D3. But all those elderly people being pushed into care homes where they don't get any sunshine, over 100 years ago, when people had lung disease or whatever, they knew vitamin D, the sunshine, which creates vitamin D, and they used to literally take them out every day. The minute the sun was shining, they would take them out in wheelchairs or whatever. And they knew people would recover and get healthy again. And this is young and old, actually, with all sorts of disease. So it was well known. So vitamin D deficiency, and you're not going to believe this list anyway, but it is true. Immune deficiencies, all immune deficiencies, diabetes type 2, cardiovascular disease, prostate cancer, breast cancer, depression, dementia, osteoporosis, Alzheimer's, bone fractures, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis. I mean, it's just crazy, this lot. But these, these are caused by a deficiency as a prime thing of vitamin D3. Myopia, psoriasis, schizophrenia. Now that is actually caused because the mother was deficient before and during pregnancy. So you might get schizophrenic when you get older in your 20s, but the actual cause was because your mother wasn't delivering enough D3 to you, which is a good reason, because I have always advocated before you even produce a baby, getting pregnant, you should be taking all the nutrients, but especially D3, all the way through. And as soon as the baby's born, as long as the mother's breastfeeding and taking high doses of D3, then everything's fine. But if she can't, then the baby should be getting D3 drops, or D3K2 drops, whichever, straight away, because it's so critical for the baby, for its immune system. And so schizophrenia, really, really, really bad. That was the final one on that. But it just reinforces it for pregnancy. Nutrition is not optional in pregnancy. And if anybody, I don't care whether it's the best doctor in the world, I don't know what the best doctor in the world is, but because I actually have no faith in doctors. The word doctor to me is a dirty word. It's D for dirty, because they just literally don't tell you the proper information. If they know the truth, then they're bad. If they don't know the truth, then they're stupid. And that's a fact. So you must take all the nutrients that you need, especially before you actually produce the baby, and then all the way through the pregnancy, and then later, presuming you're breastfeeding, you'll be delivering them to the baby, or the baby will need nutrition very soon. These formula foods are just junk. I've seen what's in them. They are really bad. I mean, my wife will tell you, as soon as I see something, I'm on the label actually to look at it, and terrible. Anyway, do you think that whole list is extravagant? Well, there's more as well, because as I said, it could be that D3 is one of the key factors of all disease. And if we get all the nutrition, well, it's my contention anyway, if you get every single nutrient that you need in your body, and then you eat a good diet and you drink water and you walk every day, you'll be a super person, super healthy person. All those conditions are in my books, I should say. All my plans in my books have D3 in it. So what I'm saying is that it could, well, it's not, I knew it was anyway, but my plans are so successful because they always have the critical things, and the most critical thing is D3. Obviously you need to take the rest, but if you did one thing from everything I say, if you went away tomorrow and you said, oh, well, I'm not going to take all those things, just take D3, hopefully, and vitamin C. Anyway, I won't rant too much. I'm always ranting. Okay, so, I hear you say, Robert, so to avoid cold, flu and coronavirus, all I need is 6,000 IUs of D3, 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, as Dr. Fauci said, and I'm all set for the winter. No flu shots, no coronavirus shots, I'll be great. And the answer is yes. That's all you need to do, and you'll be great. Obviously, I want people to do more, and because I want them to be 100%, not 99%, not 98%, which is pretty good. I want everybody to be 100%, and I want their children to be 100%. Children are going to school at this moment, friends, relatives, sending their children to school. And because the children are sniffling or getting a bit of a cold, they've been sent home for 2 weeks in case it was coronavirus. Children don't get coronavirus. children don't pass it on if they did, which they don't. But what are the schools doing? Everybody is in terror of, the Faucis and the governments of this world. They've been terrorised. People are wearing masks everywhere, even on the street. Why would anybody wear a mask on the street? Because terror makes people go crazy. I'm not terrorised. I get a bit depressed at seeing these people, but I'm not terrorised by them, because I know the doctors and the medical system and the government people are all either crazy or corrupt. And they are corrupt. If you don't know, politicians are mostly corrupt by now. I'll tell you a little story. My cousin was an MP for many, many years, and he gave up when he was 65, and I was talking to him at a party, and I said, why didn't you go to the House of Lords or carry on? He said, it's all corrupt. And he was the chairman of the ethics committees. And he said, no matter what you do, it's all covered up, the corruption. And so this is somebody that was in deep with it. Not corrupt himself, but he was sitting by the corruption. So children have got to get D3 and C. I've told you before many times, from 1946 to 1955, I was given free by the government and all the children in the UK that wanted it, vitamin D and vitamin C, liquid vitamin C and liquid vitamin D. It was great. Come 1955, the next government stopped it. A year later, we had a polio epidemic. Now, in my research, I've seen that in the 1930s, people were researching vitamin C for both preventing and also treating polio with great success. So, was it because they stopped the D3 and the vitamin C that the polio outbreak? We'll never know, because they don't keep records of who takes supplements. They take record of who takes drugs, but not who takes supplements, and they should do, because I think it was the D. And you might say, well, what happened to the people that were taking the supplements? I don't know, but I do know, because I was from a relatively poor family, and we took those things gratefully, the free stuff. Maybe middle class people thought it was beneath them to get free stuff. I don't know, and maybe it was people that didn't take the C and the D over that 9 years that we all took them. We'll never know really, but if people did study, if they were honest, people call themselves health professionals. They're disease professionals, disease care. They're nothing to do with health. They're as far from health as, well, I don't know what the comparison is, but they are nothing to do with health. When doctors are paid by drug companies to give drugs, even in the UK, doctors are paid to actually get people to have vaccinations. They don't say, oh, get everybody to have a vaccination because it's your duty. They say, get everybody to have a vaccination and we'll give you, I don't know how much it is, £10 for every person. I don't know what it is, but they do pay them. And we know they pay them in America, and they probably pay them in other countries. I don't know, but the America and the UK, the two countries I know the best anyway, and they're corrupt. Most doctors are corrupt, and if they say they're not, I say, okay, what supplements do you give people when they're sick? Oh, well, there's no studies. Yes, there are studies. There are lots and lots of studies coming out of your arm, but more to the point, you can give them a supplement, you know it will do them no harm, and if they get better, then you can try it with the next person and the next person yourself. You don't have to wait till somebody from high pats you on the head and said, yes, you can give them supplements now. And so, as I say, I have no faith, no confidence in doctors. And if you have any doctors out there, I'm very, very sorry, but I believe it's a fact. If you are giving people supplements, then I bow down to you. I bow down to you because you are such a rare person. Anyway, this is a question I get asked: will children be able to avoid having vaccinations if they're given vitamin D3 and vitamin C? I don't know. Most of my children, my grandchildren, my children and grandchildren are not vaccinated, and they've always had nutrition. So, and they're super healthy and super strong. So it's very difficult for me to actually suggest to anybody else. But I only tell people to follow my lead, not follow my words. You know, my words are what, you know, my lead. But of course, I mean, I cannot tell you to do it. But as I say, got strong, healthy, super brainy grandchildren, and nutrition does that, not vaccinations. Anyway, you've got to do more than that if you want to have this super fitness and health. You know, to be totally healthy, fit and strong. You know, we were doing our exercises this morning, weights and all sorts of things, Anne and I, and we do those, you know, 2-3 times a week. And it's important to do that. We've been for a really long walk this afternoon, which we do, you know, through the woods. But you need 100% of all the nutrients that you need, and that includes zinc, which you've probably heard of, lots and lots and lots, and selenium and magnesium, because magnesium is also deficient, seriously deficient, in everybody. I'll come to that in a minute. But just giving it people think that organic food is full of nutrients and non-organic food is not. That's nothing to do with organic food, whether it's got nutrients in it. If you need some selenium, you can't say, well, this food's organic, so it must have selenium in it. No, it's the soil it was grown in. And the soil, over thousands of years, has always been getting more and more deficient. But now it's accelerated the last 60, 70 years because intensive farming. But you can't just say, well, I'm going to grow this organically so it'll be full of you know, minerals. The only difference between organic and non-organic is chemicals. That's all. There's no difference in the minerals in there. So you need to supplement all of the minerals. And you know, I've said it before many times, we have Active Life, which has got 130 different nutrients in there. So you are covered, not as high as, you know, the D3 is only 400 IUs, the vitamin C is 400 milligrams, but you are getting something, and it's pretty good for children, that anyway. So, you know, you really need to supplement all of the things. I'll give you an example, because this problem of farming and losing all the minerals is not even new. Nearly 10,000 years ago, there was a civilization called the Sumerian civilization. It was in Sumer, which is in the Middle East. I think it's now called Iraq, actually, but it doesn't really matter. And it was a massively advanced civilization with writing, you know, huge streets, you know, huge cities, farming systems automated, trading all over the Middle East and the Mediterranean, and just massive, lasted for I think 2,000 years or something like that, and longer than our civilizations have lasted. And in the end, it just collapsed completely. Why did it collapse? Because they overfarmed all the soil in that fertile valley, and it just left, and it became desert, and nothing could grow in it. And when I say it collapsed, you know, I mean the city people evacuated the city, and you know, some people went to Turkey, some people went to Greece, whatever, but it just disappeared. And now it has been. I mean, you know, you can go on YouTube and see fantastic videos of archaeologists explaining about the Sumerian civilization. But even 10,000 years ago, societies were collapsing, or people were getting unhealthy because there wasn't enough nutrition in the soil left. Because once you keep planting and taking nutrition away out of the soil, there's no magic thing comes down from the air and brings that nutrition back. It's gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. So the only way you and I can get our nutrition is by supplementation. Boom, boom. Anyway, as I say continually, the governments and the medical pharma cartel will never tell you this. I don't know why the governments are there corrupt as well, but they're all corrupt. And it's a shame. I don't really like to say all these people that you're relying on. You go to the doctor when you've got a problem and you expect them not to be corrupt, but unfortunately they are really. And I just told you before about magnesium. Now, Dr. Fauci didn't say, you also need magnesium. But you need magnesium as a cofactor for vitamin D3. Yeah, so because everything works together in synergy in the body. You don't take one thing and everything is fine. You take it because magnesium also works on something like 200 or 300 enzyme activities in the body, and it works as a cofactor with D3, whatever. So you need magnesium. Magnesium's down in our own diet in just 60 years. Now, I was talking about Sumerians for 2,000 years. Our own diet with intensive farming has gone down by 50%. So everybody has only got 50% of the magnesium in their body that you would have had if you lived 60 years ago. Well, I was alive 60 years ago. So that's a fact of life, because you use minerals in the body. You don't put them in and then they're there till the day you die. You use them, the minerals, and magnesium. So it's deficient. You need it. Full stop. There's nobody can turn around and say, yes, well, I eat avocados, so I read that avocados are rich in magnesium, and I say, who says so? Oh, well, it says it in this book here that I read on agriculture. So, well, that book was almost certainly written 50 or 60 years ago. And when they say foods are rich in magnesium, they mean compared to something else. So that, whatever, a carrot might not be magnesium rich for whatever reason with the genes in that. But an avocado is. But the avocado is still 50% down than it was all those years ago, because they've been growing the avocado in those same fields for 60 years. And the magnesium goes into the avocados, you take the avocados away, and that's that much gone out of the soil time after time. And I bet Fauci didn't also tell you that D3 also needs something called K2, vitamin K2. You might have heard of vitamin K being given as injections to babies when they're first born, which is some controversy over that. It might be because the mother is not consuming enough K2 or vitamin K, because it's found in leafy greens. And I don't know whether it could be that pregnant ladies don't like leafy green vegetables. I have no idea, but it's critical for the baby. And I think if they knew it was critical for the baby, for their baby growing in their tummy, they would think about it much more carefully. But nobody tells them. Nobody tells them. The doctor doesn't tell them. The midwife doesn't tell them. They just say, oh, if you eat a balanced diet, everything's fine. Wrong. Just wrong. So you also need, with D3, K2, that's why I formulated a D3, K2 spray, so you get both of them at the same time, or you can spray it on a spoon if it's being given to a child or a baby. You've got to follow a good action plan, and I go on about this week after week, month after month, year after year. I can continue back on my newsletters going back 20 years, and it's hardly changed. But you need to stop eating grains, cereals, and other high sugar foods and drinks. They are unfit foods for humans and animals. In fact, research indicates that the consumption of wheat contributes to a growth of pathogenic bacteria in your gut. So literally, you are inviting infection into your body when you eat grains and cereal. And of course, grains and cereal, unless they're organic, this is where it comes in, are often contaminated with Roundup herbicide because they actually finish off the grain and cereal in the fields by giving it a last spray of Roundup just before it's harvested, just so that you really enjoy that flavour of Roundup herbicide. You also probably know about Roundup herbicide and cancer actually. But foods to avoid include high sugar foods, drinks, breads, pastry, biscuits, breakfast cereals, rice, potatoes, parsnips and pasta. My wife makes lovely cookies, and I had one after dinner actually with almond flour and with chocolate chip cookies actually made with almond flour. No grains or cereals or anything else. You need to eat more coloured vegetables, greens and dark-skinned fruits. You need to walk as much as possible for better circulation and oxygenation of the blood. When you're walking, you're breathing better and everything's circulating around your body. You need to drink 6 times 500 millimetre glasses of water over the day. And if you put the penny cure in it, which is 1/4 to 1/3 teaspoon of baking soda in each glass, I call that the penny cure, because whatever you have wrong, and if you couldn't afford anything, you can afford a penny a day, which is the penny cure with sodium bicarbonate, and that in many cases will actually save your life. In fact, it's used to save your life because doctors, hush my mouth, doctors in emergency, now the doctors in emergency are different doctors because they will do anything they can, and slowly it's going around the world now. When you go into emergency and you've got some, heart, lungs or whatever, they will give you intravenous magnesium, and also baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, and that saves your life. So if it's good enough for emergency room doctors to do, it's good enough for you to take actually in your glasses of water of the day. Of course, you're already taking your magnesium by massaging into your body, all over the body. All my books there's a link to all my books as usual, so you can download the books, they're all free, you can go through them, read them, ask questions, but do become your own health expert. Listen to me to begin with, but you should learn that you really can resolve anything from cancer to lung disease to heart disease to Alzheimer's to anything. And we know, I've just mentioned all those terrible diseases, and just D3 alone is going to start to make a difference actually. So, and the only way to beat the lockdowns and avoid vaccinations and the Gates Fauci gang, because they are a gang actually, Gates is the main financer of the World Health Organization, and the World Health Organization is run by a former war criminal who is also from Ethiopia. Why would he do that? Why would he go to Ethiopia, recruit this guy and take him and make him the head of the World Health Organization? Because he wants another criminal like him. I can't think of another reason. Why would they not get some great Nobel Prize doctor or something to head it up? No, they don't want anybody with any honesty. So your family, you need to get healthy and stay healthy. And some of the best critical immune boosting supplements I've discussed are all there below, and you can look at them. But please, please, please share this, because I'm blocked on Facebook now from actually sharing anything I do. Only the people that read my posts can share them. That's a fact of life, and it's getting worse and worse. We're building another social media platform ourselves, actually, and just lots and lots of work to do, but it'll take a few weeks yet to get that going. But please become invincible to cold, flu, and of course coronavirus. Thank you for listening to me ranting, and take good care, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.